Welcome back to Liz and Liz Get Literary. My name is Liz.
And I am also Liz.
And we're here.
Welcome back.
We're here at Sunbound Books.
We are.
Again.
Yes. None.
This is just where we live now. We have cots in the back.
They're comfy.
They are. We love it here. And today we have a really, really, really special episode for you, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. It is what brought us together. Mm-hmm. It is what keeps us together. Mm-hmm. Well, among a million things.
Right.
And we have so many friends and new loves and favorite books and genres, all because of book clubs. Mm-hmm. So we are really excited to talk about them today.
Yes.
Before we get into that, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. It's another Monday.
It's another month.
A new month.
New month.
It's my birthday month.
We finally get to celebrate Liz.
Yay. You used to hate my birthday. I was that person who was like, it's so boring, it's annoying. Just another day. I don't want to. But it really was just a testament to how not well I was at the time. Mm-hmm. And now that I'm very well, I love to celebrate me.
As you absolutely should, because you are absolutely phenomenal.
It's fun. Yes. And not even because it's like my birthday. It's just like a fun excuse to get everyone together and do stuff. It's just fun.
There's nothing wrong with enjoying celebrating your birthday.
It's true. I may start doing birthday week.
You should. You should do birthday month. I do. I think it's important, and it's a reason too. That's not a holiday that everybody else is celebrating.
Yeah, it's fun. It's special. It makes everything just feel a little more special.
Exactly.
I also am at the age where I take my birthday off every year from work. Mm-hmm. So that's fun. So yeah, March is not my favorite month in terms of like vibes because it's really, really rainy. It's not winter, but it's not fully spring or summer in the Midwest. Mm-hmm. It's just usually gloomy and wet.
Yeah. Sometimes it's 10 degrees, sometimes it's 50 degrees. It's where everyone gets their colds and
yeah. March is where I have my hoa resurgence.
Yeah.
Because every single time anyone says it's cold, it's damp, it's wet, I immediately think of Bella Swan, where she's like, I don't really like the cold, any cold, wet thing. And Edward is just like trying to unalive himself in biology. So yeah, I just like March. It's pretty fun.
I think, so Taylor Swift says an endless February, but honestly, I feel like it goes by so fast. March is endless.
January and March are some of my least favorite things.
And I think last year I think you read more. I read 19 books last March.
I don't know how many exactly I read. I am already at over 30 for the year. So I'm not sure how many I've read.
I think we're going to hit our goal for sure.
I'm shaping up to be, I read a lot more already this year than I did at this time last year.
I meant to ask you, how did you feel about Goodreads changing that? I loved that, like, you are 6 books ahead of meeting your goal. That, like, made me feel good. How do you feel that they took that away?
They did take that away, and additionally, they took away where you can't see other people's reading goals. Mm-hmm. And that makes me very angry. Mm-hmm. The good news is that we are active Fable girlies as well, so I do still have joy there. At this point, if Jeff Bezos makes it, it's probably not going to be good, and he is in charge of Goodreads. So I have just expected that it's either going to go downhill or crash or just be generally bad, and it is. I won't give it up because I still love to scroll it, but I don't find myself itching to post reviews there, and I don't find myself itching to check things off there. Like, I want to read updates on Goodreads and do all of my things on Fable. That's kind of how I feel.
That's fair.
And I kind of want to try Storygraph.
If you want to do that, we'll do that.
I just want to try. I just want to see. I just want to see what happens. Some people that we really trust and value, they love Storygraph. Mm-hmm. So I figured maybe we'll do that in 2025 at some point when we're bored.
Yeah, maybe it would be better to start it off at the beginning of the year so it's accurate.
Maybe 2026.
Yeah, maybe that'd be like a 2026 goal.
Yeah, like in December this year, we can kind of set it up and like import our stuff over and then try using it.
Yeah.
Who knows? Anyways, what are you reading?
So I wanted to hurt my own feelings. I am finally reading The Favorites. You made me push it up on my list. And I'm reading Beartown by Frederick Bachman. It's just like, I think I'm 12% in one and like 6% in the other. And so.
And you're not well already.
I'm not. No.
Honestly, I feel like this was a birth month present to me from you, because they are two of my all-time favorites now. They will both go down in history, I think, as some of my all-time favorite books.
And not only that, our Romance Romantasy Book Club is doing Deep End and The Road of Bones, so that's also two of your favorite books.
Excellent picks for mystery thriller.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
BRBT was the favorites. So honestly, all of my book clubs could not be going better for me right now.
They said, let's be great.
They said, happy birthday, Liz, is what they said.
Happy birthday, Liz. Yes.
So
what about you?
I'm so glad you asked. In a very different light, I am also hurting my own feelings because I've decided it's fantasy month. It is also, as you guys are aware by now, our book buying ban. Sorry, Sunbound. We did come in to pick up books from our physical TBR because Liz and I, if you saw our other video, you already know this, we'll not be buying a single book, including Kindle, a library, Amazon, audiobooks, pre-orders, etc. We are not spending 1 cent on books in the month of March. So basically I can buy a car. Is maybe. So we are only reading books that we currently owned when the clock struck midnight, March 1st. Mm-hmm. So that's very fun for me because, as you probably saw, the TBR shelves were crazy for both of us.
Yeah. We really needed to work on our TBRs, and I think mine at least got really overwhelming, and I said they're all great books on there, and I just need to take the time to read them, which you guys already know. But
when I set out on my journey a couple weeks ago to go home and pull out every book on my shelf I haven't read, I was unaware of just how bad my book purchasing had gotten. Mm-hmm. So this was a nice little wake-up call.
I think what happened, this is my thought process.
Tell me.
Why our book buying is so bad. Not only because amazing books keep coming out and we keep getting recommended them, but back when Fourth Wing came out, it came out and it flew off the shelf and you could not get it for months.
No.
And so now even the most maybe not well-known book, we're like, we have to get it now or it's going to be gone.
There is that fear that's part of mine as well. I think the majority, for me, my majority reasoning for this is I want to commemorate all of our book clubs, mm-hmm. and we are in 6. Yeah. So that is a minimum of 6 books a month that I'm either purchasing, relocating, buying, whatever. Mm-hmm. And so we buy a lot of books. So books are so pretty. Look at all books are so pretty. So we have to, but we're not in March. It's hard. This is a test for us. This is a trial. Feyre could never. And yeah, we're doing great. On that note, I am reading Blood of Hercules, which my sister-in-law read and was feral for. Having a great time. Additionally, the internet has been feral for Heartless Hunter,
Rebel Witch.
I'm doing those currently. And then I'll be starting probably some really emotionally depressing contemporary fiction because that's just who I am as a person.
Okay, what a selection. I'm excited to get our TBRs down. We're hitting it.
We'll see what happens. March, like we said, we read a lot because it's boring outside and no one's doing as much.
We don't have as much on the calendar.
Yeah. Spring break.
Yeah.
For children, and mm-hmm. I work at a college, so I really don't have much. Yeah. So it's great. More time for book clubs.
So speaking of book clubs, that is what today's episode is about. We talk all the time about our book clubs. So we thought we would kind of go through them and tell you guys what our favorite books were from them in 2024. And I guess we're far enough in 2025 we could talk about it too.
Yeah.
We are so incredibly lucky to be in 5 or 6.
I think you're in 5 and I'm in 6 because I have 1 with my sister-in-laws.
Yeah. And Everyone always asks, how do you do that many? I would say we are expert readers.
Yeah.
I mean, we already know we're going to read 6 books.
You say expert, I say feral.
Yes.
Expertly feral.
Yes. And we also are very good at retaining our books. I've seen a lot of people say that they read the book and then they completely forget it.
Yeah, and I could never.
I can't.
Sometimes I wish I could, so I'm very happy for you. I'm not judging you, but that's just not how I operate.
Sometimes I think about books I read back in middle school that I want to read again.
I often think about the Magic Treehouse series.
Yep.
And what those kids are doing.
We are in romance romantasy. We are in a mystery thriller. We are in I would call it a literary fiction for Sunbound, I would say. BRBT
is our virtual.
Brady and Rosie Book Talk. I am in a historical fiction, and you are in
a book club with my sister-in-laws, which really it varies. We've read everything from ACOTAR to Ina Garten's memoir. So.
Yes, you guys do a lot of really good books. So it's a wide selection of different genres, and it has made our reading so just well-rounded out.
I do. I love that for us. I love it so much. We get to read so many things that we really wouldn't normally pick up if we were just left to our own devices. I think we would get to all of the genres eventually, but these specific books, some of them are ones I would have never, ever picked up. And one thing I really love that one of our friends has been saying recently is the reason we go to so many, the reason we're able to do so many is because it's where we find fulfillment, right? I feel the most fulfilled when I'm sitting in a circle of girly pops, sometimes others as well. We do have some husbands that come to some book clubs, which is always fun. But most of the time, it's just sitting with your friends and discussing these topics that aren't really easy to bring up in everyday conversation and just getting lost in stories, forgetting what's going on for a while. I don't feel fulfillment when I'm sitting at my desk, but I feel so full every single time I leave a book club.
Yeah, and I think also because it's an environment that's safe. As a reader, and I think you've experienced this too, we probably have had times where we've gone into book tangents and we watch the eyes glaze and then it's, well, I don't read. And you're so excited about a book.
Yeah.
And when we're in our groups, it's reciprocated.
Even if they don't feel the same way about the same book. It's a fun conversation that no matter what the people's opinions are, leaves you feeling fulfilled.
Yep.
And it's just essentially every book club is about an hour to 2 hours. And so it's about 12 hours a month where we are in the secret gardens in our minds. And that brings me a lot of joy.
So much joy, truly. And it's because of these book clubs. We had our tangent in our last episode about the friendships. It's these book clubs that have brought us all together and continue to keep us together. And we have had many people who have told us, I'm here because I want friends. I'm here because I want connection. And in this day and age, it's not easy sometimes. And all of our book clubs are very welcoming and open. The one that I think I was the most nervous about, but I have felt very welcomed in, is the BRBT, the virtual. Doing something like that is putting yourself out there for a lot of people you don't know. And they've been so welcoming, and we have made so many great friends.
Yeah, there are 300 plus people in the online group chat. So that is intimidating to walk into. And there are people that we talk to every single day from this book club. And Brady and Rosie themselves, we talk to almost every day, if not every day. And it is just so fun to talk about literally every topic with these girls. It is incredible. So should we start with that book club?
Yeah,
let's talk about our favorite and least favorites that we've read with them.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Okay, what was your favorite BRBT book that we have done so far?
I have to do columns. My favorite was The Unmaking of June Farrow.
Same.
And we've talked about that before. But we have read S.A. Cosby now and Percival Everett. So we read Razorblade Tears and James. And both of those books changed me.
Yes.
And I actively think about both of them. I think James was a literary masterpiece. I think it should be the required reading in school.
Instead of Huckleberry Finn
or
Tom Sawyer.
And I think there are at least 17 people I actively think who should read that book and Razorblade Tears.
Yes. I think so often about all the people that I wish I could like impart my feelings and knowledge that I gained from both of those books just into people's brains. I feel like I, at this current state, am like S.A. Cosby's like sales agent, because when people are asking like what's a hard book to read, what should I read, what's important, I am like, Razorblade Tears, all the sinners bleed. Razorblade Tears, all the sinners bleed. It's so hard to put yourself in a mindset where you feel uncomfortable and you feel dark emotions. And while it's not always pleasant to feel those things, it is unfortunately real life. Mm-hmm. And it is incredibly important to put yourself in positions where you are fortunate you never have to be.
We see that a lot in James from Huckleberry Finn. Huck's.
Not Huckle's perspective. It was truly a testament to of it is very important to educate yourselves on something, because it is not the marginalized job to educate you on what they have gone through.
And we see that in Razorblade Tears.
Yes. And James.
And James, yes. I felt that Razorblade Tears was such an uncomfortable read because it says all of those things.
It says all of the quiet parts out loud.
Yes. And a lot of people are not okay with reading that because it makes you have to look at yourself and say, how have I interpreted things in my life? And that's important. I will forever be grateful to BRBT for introducing me to these books.
It's a personal goal to make sure that in our own circles, in our own book clubs, in our own lives, we are constantly a representation of what love looks like, no matter what topic we're discussing. So,
yeah.
I think you're correct. Those two books really changed the way that I read some things, the way I look at some things. I learned a lot, especially because they tackle a lot of topics that people don't tackle. So that was really fun. I think on a lighter note and like more of an emotionally personal note, I would agree also that The Unmaking of June Farrow was such an iconic read. Mm-hmm. It was the first book that we did with BRBT. And it was the one we really said, oh, everyone's going to love this book. I can't wait to talk about this book with, 60 plus people who also loved it.
And we also said we're going to be quiet. Mm-hmm. We're like, we'll just
get
the lay of the land.
Yeah, we really don't want them to think that we joined this book club to promote Liz and Liz Get Literary. So we made a literal pact with each other that we weren't going to speak at all. We were going to send heart reactions because it's like a Google Meets virtual Zoom thing. So we were like, oh, we'll send hearts and we'll type in the chat. And then we get in the book club. Either you didn't like the book, or you didn't understand the book, or you were confused by certain time travel aspects.
Which time travel is hard. And even while we were reading it, I was clarifying with Liz. I said, I think this is how this is working, and this is how this is working.
We had to pre-book club.
Yeah, we did. Which we do for every book.
Right.
So it wasn't that didn't shock me.
Yeah, and there's no shade. It's just we really thought everyone was going to feel our exact feelings.
Yeah, we did.
This is a 5-star read. This book changed our lives. It's going to be on our favorites list. Everyone was like crickets.
They were 2 stars, 3 stars. We were like, what? Wait.
Yeah, so then we ended up talking.
We did.
Fun fact, we talked a lot. We answered a lot of questions. But then, literally, I feel like that was the perfect book to introduce us as people, us as readers. And we were, able to make so many friends right off the bat. Literally that night.
Because one thing we know is fantasy.
True.
I don't know much,
and
but
magic,
I know that.
And love, and Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like all June Farrow is, right? I feel very passionate about that. It's like love, family, friendship, Taylor Swift.
Slay.
That's the book. Yeah, so that book changed my life. And now Adrienne Young is an auto-buy author for me. And I feel like it broke the ice of that group for us.
And that group has changed our lives.
Yes. So I think for that book club, we could also both agree. I feel very comfortable speaking for you on this, that our least favorite was A Winter in New York.
Yeah.
No shade to you, Josie Silver, because you have popped off. I have read multiple of your books and I respect you. That book was not for us, and it was not for anyone in the book club.
No, and that's all we're going to say, because what we don't do is shade authors.
With love and light, not for us.
We'll also drop a little Easter egg that you may be seeing some of the members from our BRBT on this podcast.
Very soon. Maybe some founders.
Maybe.
You never know.
We never know. Yes.
So
that's our virtual book club.
Yeah. Should we discuss your favorite of the historical fiction and my favorite of my sister-in-law book club?
Yes.
Okay. I'm ready. I'm scared.
Okay.
I feel like I know what you're going to pick. But.
So far, I've only been in this book club for I think I'm at month 4 now.
Yeah. There was one you didn't go to, so I think you've read 3, right?
I've read 3. Yeah. And so far, Frozen River by Ariel Lawson. Am I saying it right?
I say Ariel Lawson.
Ariel.
But
it depends on who you are in The Little Mermaid. You're Ariel or you're Ariel.
Yeah. If you're from the transatlantic, it's Ariel.
You're either Flounder or Sebastian. So.
Period.
And if you haven't read that book, it is about a midwife who takes place post-Revolutionary War. And just her experiences is based off a diary. And you actually got to meet the author.
Yes.
And had some inside scoop. It was a very well-written book. I will say I've only heard one semi-negative thing, and it was just historically there were some discrepancies. But I've really never read a historical that didn't.
Right. And the people that had negative things to say, I just want to let you know, you also weren't alive then. So, how do you know your opinion's accurate either? I often wonder that. I'm like...
I have not yet read a historical fiction where I'm like, it has followed everything right down.
They all try and take some liberties.
Yeah. One of my favorites is The Other Bullying Girl by Philippa Gregory. Very inaccurate because we all know things. Right. But I eat it up, and I ate this book up.
Right. I loved it. I cried so much.
Yeah. It was a very emotional book. And I love that book club. It's a fun book club.
Yeah. I think my sister-in-law book club, for those of you who don't know, I married into a very large family. So there are 7 people in this book club total. And I would have to say that my favorite so far is kind of a cheat, right? Because I had already read it before this book club, but one of my other sister-in-laws picked it, so it was not my doing. But it was Happy Place by Emily Henry.
Shocked.
Surprise.
Not shocked.
Surprise. If Emily Henry is on the list, I'm going to vote for her every time. Don't have anything bad to say about the books that have been chosen so far. We also are reading currently Hello Stranger by Catherine Senner, which I read that right when it first came out, so it's been years, and I love it a lot.
You've met Catherine Senner.
Yay.
That kind of is what started our little relationship with Wild Geese.
That's true. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I love my sisters, obviously, and I love that book club. So it's been a lot of fun. And I have read things that I for sure would never have picked up without them. So it's been fun.
Yeah. I always love hearing your recaps.
It's wild. There's always a book and a craft.
Yeah.
And we take turns hosting at all of our houses and take turns making dinner, and it's really fun.
And these crafts are amazing. You made a bag one time.
Tote bags.
Yep.
We painted tote bags.
Bookmarks.
Yep, multiple times.
You've made, what else have you done?
We did for ACOTAR, we made little mason jar fairy gardens.
That's so cute.
So like moss and little mushrooms, and we hot glued twinkle lights in them, and like paper mache, like flowers, like dried flowers to them, and then we baked them in my oven.
That's so cute.
And it's on my shelf, and it like lights up. It's really cute.
I think I've seen it.
Yeah, probably.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so that's that book club.
Then we are in our romance romantasy book club,
which is how Liz and I became soulmates.
Yes. And, oh man.
We've been in that book club for so long. First of all, we have read every single book that SJM has ever written, so that's a thing. Mm-hmm. And obviously we love those. That's how we became friends. That's how we met at all. Mm-hmm. So that worked out.
But I think my favorite that we did was One Dark Window, Two Twisted Crowns. I'm only going to pick that because I feel like it's kind of a no-brainer that SJM is a top one.
Exactly.
And Rebecca Yarros.
That's kind of what I was pointing at. Like, we've done all the popular ones, so we're not going to mention those. We know they exist. Do not worry.
We love them.
Do not worry. But we're not going to put them on our recap list because everyone knows who they are. So...
What about, was One Dark Window, Two Twisted Crowns?
That was a very, very fun discussion. I think for the romantasy books that we've read so far, that's my personal favorite book, I think. But I had so much fun last month discussing Magnolia Parks and Onyx Storm.
Yeah.
Even though I am an Onyx Storm slanderer, that conversation for both clubs was so fun.
Yes. So I'm excited for this month.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So this will be my favorite book club.
What we're doing for this year, because we've gone through all of SJM, Rebecca Yarros, is now we are doing other fantasy.
Liz is popping off. She's being very humble. Liz is currently popping off, and she is providing us with options because she runs the book club. I'm just a co-pilot fan. She's my emotional support blanket. It's true, as we know. Because I never can pronounce anything. And I'm kind of like your PR manager. Like, don't. And also, just, it's comforting to know you're there. And I always sit next to you. Yes. And I say the things out loud that you can't say, you know? So, yeah. It's kind of my role there. One of the things that I really think is important this year is to show, because I love everybody in the club, and I want to show them other fantasy, because we have read some amazing fantasy. So... And it's not because they're not experienced readers. It is because the internet's algorithm still only wants to show you Rebecca and Sarah and the books that everyone that's ever been born has heard about. Yeah. So it's no shade to the club members. No, and it's also because as expert master readers, we've read just so much. So, like Demi Winters, The Road of Bones is this month, and I am feral. I cannot wait. I actually am scared because I cannot promise what my face will look like if people slander that book. That is the downside to this. As you guys know, I do not do well to criticism, so I will not be well if people are like, I hate this book because how? But like, so The Road of Bones, Kingdom of Claw are options. We're going to do Servant of Earth, which you guys watched our Sarah Hawley interview. Such a slept-on book. So I'm promoting that for sure. A Thing Inked in Blood. A Curse Carved in Bone by Danielle L. Jensen. And even smaller ones. Like, we're talking about putting Ledge, Chasm, and Valley on the list. North is the Night. Mm-hmm. All kinds of things. Laura Thalassa. There's going to be so many options that people don't always get to hear about. Yeah, and Quicksilver will be on there. That was another viral book, which I thoroughly enjoyed. You haven't read yet, but you'll have a great time. And so my main goal is to show them more, because when it comes to romantasy, to me, SJM and Rebecca are like the stepping stones in. Staples. Yeah, and once you're done with that, you're free to move on. Yep. And there are some very well-written ones. Yeah. Throne of the Fallen, Throne of Secrets by Carrie Maniscalco, one of my favorites. So good. There's the Bargainer series by Laura Thalassa is a very finished, quick read. Liz did not like her Four Horsemen series, but this is a completely different vibe. If it is chosen, I will happily read it.
Yeah, I love Laura Thassa. I will also promote Janine Frost, who wrote the Night Huntress series. We've covered a lot of these in
there's
podcasts
so
before.
many. You guys know what we love. So Liz is going to show them.
Yeah, and then every month we pick a romance book. So like this month we're doing Deep End. And it's just fun. We try and keep that pretty fresh. We did the Magnolia Parks.
Yep. Not Another Love Song. We did an Emily Henry, Lila Sage, BK Borison.
We did BK a couple times.
Yes. And we will hopefully be doing Emily Henry again here soon. Yeah. I'm just so excited.
Yeah, so that is one of my favorites. And it's a very large crowd of amazing women.
It is so many people.
And we pop off.
We do.
So that's that book club. We have a great time. And then we have our mystery thriller book club.
Yes. I love that book club.
What has been your favorite mystery thriller?
I honestly think that my favorite one that we have done so far is We Used to Live Here.
Not Pretty Girls?
Mm-mm. Only because the discussion for We Used to Live Here absolutely was bonkers. Because if you've read that book, it was very viral, so you know. There's a lot left unsaid, lots of conspiracy, creepy, no sleep vibes happening. There's a lot to kind of decipher, and you are left alone. There's Morse code in the book that you can look up. There's like capital letters, Reddit threads. I did a full-on deep dive when I read that book, and it was crazy. Additionally, we have read multiple Karen Slaughter books, automatically 5-star reads, auto by author. But those conversations can be a little lackluster simply because they are so traumatizing. And we loved the books so much, but they are hard to discuss in a public setting sometimes. But the books themselves are absolutely phenomenal. And I'm actually going to take back everything I just said, because my favorite mystery thriller book club was the Southern Book Club's Guide.
I was just thinking that because of the conversation.
Yep, the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. I'm taking it all back, so just rewind.
Here, like I said, call them. So my favorite book we've read is We Used to Live Here. I've read that. Our favorite conversation we've had is the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires.
Yes. Yep. And most of the books we read for that book club are at least 3 stars. Mystery thriller is hard to get a 5-star out of me, so it's not personal. It's not personal. It's not personal. However, we have read so many 5 stars in that book club, which is hard. It's such an oversaturated genre, much like romantasy. It is such topical book content that it can be hard to read. Neither of us do well with kids being hurt. Neither of us do well with super, super, super paranormal things. Like ghosts, cute. Demons, not cute.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I have nothing to add because it's the same for me.
We're just, in that book club, we are truly the same person.
Yeah. I mean, I think also like Ninth House was a really fun discussion we had, but I think that was 2023.
It was. But Hellbent was 2024.
Hellbent was fun. Yeah. There's a very large, eclectic group of people.
Yeah. I almost would venture to say that is one of my favorite nights of the month, every month, because those are people I never see. There are several people in that book club. I don't know their name.
But we talk about...
But we pop off together.
But I will say, that is probably one of the harder book clubs to talk about it because most of us do know each other. We know trauma. We know that. And we are mindful. And like Karen Slaughter... she doesn't care.
Right, and that's part of what makes her an untouchable thriller author, is because, and no matter who it is, who's writing it, there's going to be death, there's going to be gore, there's going to be violence, there's going to be crime, no matter the mystery, no matter the thrill. So it can be difficult to facilitate those discussions in a way that's not activating or triggering or scary. I left... gosh, what book was it? There was one book club night that I left, and I was scared on my drive home. I was scared in my neighborhood. I can't remember what it was, but the conversation was so intense that I literally was white-knuckling my steering wheel because we leave and it's dark.
Yep.
And I was not well.
So this book club, what we have learned, is what they like is horror and murder. And if they mix together, they're happy.
It's my favorite.
If you know me, I don't do well with horror. And I don't really, I mean, I watch Law and Order SVU.
You're good with murder, but you're not good when it's like children are missing and you're not good when it's things that could happen to you.
I don't like suspense.
Yeah.
And
why she chose to go to this book club, unclear. But you still have a great time.
I do. Sometimes, though, our friend Bailey loves horror. And sometimes I just cuss her out in my head.
It's true. And then we call her out at book club. Like, you would go to that house. You would unlock that door. You would have left those curtains open. It's so funny.
Like, this is our friend Bailey. This is how I would describe her. Say we're driving, okay? And there's a tour guide with us. And they're like, that house there had 100 murders and is so haunted. No one has ever come out. I keep driving. Wouldn't even look at the house. We are not acknowledging any of that.
I'm speeding up.
Yeah. Keep going. Bailey, let's go on an adventure.
Let's walk around. Let's see if any of the doors are unlocked.
What is that movie where they go into an insane asylum and they get lost in it and they can't ever come back out?
I'm not sure if I know the movie you're talking about, but the season 2 of American Horror Story is Asylum.
Yeah.
It may be what you're talking about, because I know you're not watching that on TV. You're watching that on like short clips on your phone.
Yeah.
If you ask Liz if she's seen a movie that's currently in theaters, her answer will be yes, and she's lying.
I've watched enough of it to know.
She watches those like Part 77 on TikTok, and the people in the comments are like, "Come on, movie boy!" I know.
Like, I need Part 78.
So she's like, "I've seen it." She hasn't.
I have watched the Insidious movies.
Yeah,
like actually,
which is weird because those are scary.
I wasn't scared in those. I was too the whole concept of consequences of actions had me so enthralled that I wasn't scared.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like it was the plot. I wasn't scared of the demon guys. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't do well like with Paranormal Activity, that kind of stuff where
that scared me so bad. I saw that in like, don't tell my mom, in like 9th grade in theaters, and my friend's mom bought us tickets for it.
I will never forget watching that first movie and like literally sleeping on my parents' floor because I was so scared.
I was not well.
I'm still not well. I have not finished that series. I've Wikipedia'd it because I just need to know how it, and it like ends up being this whole like
it's lore.
Yeah, lore thing, which is actually something I really do like, but I can't do that.
I would read that book.
Yes.
Yeah, and then so that it circles way back to OG Liz lore. The night I saw that movie in theaters the first time, I had to go back to the barn and sleep in the barn. Oh, yeah. Can you imagine?
Nope.
We had all the lights on.
Absolutely.
We were like, well, I think we were watching like Powerpuff Girls or Scooby Doo or something on the projector screen because we were not well.
Yeah, and that's like Bailey's lullaby.
That would be like her first date goals.
Yeah, and I'm like, no.
Yeah. No. But we have an amazing time in the book club still. Don't let us fool you. We have some amazing conversations, and now we have like a fun little subset of favorite people. We've made friends, and every book club we go to, we make long-lasting, lifelong friends, and it's cute.
Yeah, they get amused that we're like, this was awful. I was not well. They're like,
what they love about us is that you are unwell, and I am your PR manager. Yes.
The one time, okay, we're going to give you some lore. We've probably talked about this before, but never now. There was a book that came out.
Never now.
Liz has had to censor me one time. One big time. There's been
others. We have not talked about this.
Have we?
But I'm ready. We've not, but I'm ready to discuss.
Actually, I want to talk about it.
I'm ready.
And I'm going to say names.
And because it was a book club book, this is pivotal for the episode. This was a pivotal point of our friendship. And it was an activating evening at our Romanticy book club. And Liz is looking at the book right now on the shelf, as well as myself. So.
And my opinion, as I have gained knowledge, has changed.
Just a little.
I mean,
I've gone more towards your side.
Yes. So, if you have read Powerless by Lauren Roberts, you know what I'm talking about.
And we're happy for you if you like it.
And if you like it, I'm here's the thing. I will never ever say I'm not happy if you don't like a book. No, I mean, I want everyone to love reading. Here is why I was not happy.
And if Powerless is your Roman Empire and you love Powerless and you've read the novella and Reckless and you're going to pre-order Fearless, we love you. Turn this episode off.
Because I have to say some things.
We'll see you next week, and we love you.
I feel I have a very rounded answer to this book.
Yes. But if it's going to hurt your feelings...
If you're going to argue with me, just turn it off. Okay, so I was reading Powerless. I'm just going to start and then end. So
that's usually how it goes.
I was reading.
There's a middle, too.
Yeah, and at one point, I text Liz, and I'm like, what the fuck? I've read this before.
I think you FaceTimed me, too, multiple times.
And I've seen this... What is it? I've seen this...
I think I've seen this film before, and I didn't like the ending.
And I was activated. There are multiple scenes and stuff in that book that were directly taken from other books, in my opinion.
At least 3 that we found. 3 other books where there's exact, almost paragraphs. Like, we've done research. Because at first, people were thinking that you were a little harsh. Even I was harsh. And so I had to go do research, and we were like asking ChatGPT, AI is bad for you, asking all these things to come up with our receipts. And there are lots of receipts.
I mean, to be completely frank with you guys, Reese's Nightmare is in there with Feyre. He just doesn't have wings and talons. I'm sorry.
And that is a nuanced conversation because Reese's Nightmare is a knockoff as well.
Yes. So obviously this all happens.
Romantasy is hard to be original. Only so many men can have wings and have black hair and purple eyes and have void powers and be unique. So I hear you all, and I love you for writing the Shadow Daddies. I'm not mad at you. Just change some more things and we won't notice it.
Yeah, and that was the problem. So I made a very harsh review on Goodreads. Liz had to call me and say, this was when we were fledglings as book talkers, Instagram.
We had just, I think, started.
And she said, you're so valid.
Yeah.
That's how you started. And I was like, I know.
And I was like, hold on, I agree. I said, hold on. Yeah. Hold on, don't hang up. I agree.
But we can't be saying this. And she was completely right. And so and also we had friends who really enjoyed the book, and I'm not looking to make enemies.
My favorite booktuber loves Powerless, but understands the criticism and didn't like Reckless.
Is that the same one who did then read Red Queen? And okay. So what ended up happening, the author Lauren, I don't know if it was after Reckless was published, at some point came out and said that this was actually a fan fiction for Hunger King,
yes,
Hunger Games, Red Queen, etc.
It began that way for her, yes. And she wrote it at 18.
Correct. I then had to shift my ire because we've all written fan fiction. I am now mad at your editors and your publisher because what they did not do was say, Lauren, loved this, but we have to make it more Lauren. A little less this.
A little less Victoria.
A little less
Sarah.
Et cetera, yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe Reckless will be better. You know, she had a rough go with Powerless. And I'm sorry to have contributed to that. I did.
You were very nice compared to some of the things that I observed.
And I apologized. I think the next book club or another book club later, I said more information has come out. I do want to tell you guys X, Y, and Z.
And you directly went to the one friend I'm thinking of and apologized. Mm-hmm. And that was hysterical to me as your PR manager. It was so cute. It was so nice of you.
Because what I'm going to do...
And she loved it so much that you thought of her to do that. Well, it was so fun.
Because what I'm not going to do is double down when I'm wrong. Or if I'm in a scenario where I wasn't given enough information and I jumped to conclusions.
If only men could learn from Liz.
So, Reckless comes out. Mm-hmm. And I was very mad about this. Reckless was not perceived well. There were multiple editing errors, and again, a lot of misspellings, and again, a lot of things that reminded people of other things.
Specifically the same series that it reminded the people of the first time.
At this point, you are failing your author because Lauren should not be doing her own cleanup work. You should have edited that to an inch within its life.
Yeah, and it's once again okay to be so inspired by something that you make something similar.
Yes.
But what it is about, in my head, 60-40, 60 publishers, 40 Lauren.
Mm-hmm.
Because at a certain extent, you had to know that people were going to recognize some things.
Yeah, and so will I continue the series? No, because I'm also not one of those where I'm like, I'm only going to hate read it. I don't hate the series. Yeah. I think if you are just coming into YA romantasy, perfect. Because the books
Please pop off.
Yeah, the books that I read that are like it, I love. And I want everyone to read.
We love Carval. Mm-hmm. We love Red Queen. Mm-hmm. Once Upon a Broken Heart. I mean, the list literally goes on. Like, there are a lot of YA fantasies. Adrienne Young has a YA fantasy series. Carrie Mascalco, Danielle Jensen. Like, YA fantasy can pop off.
Yeah, and I just think she was failed by her team.
Not enough people told her this is too close to XYZ.
Exactly.
And in a climate that is 2025 book talk is better than the climate that was 2022, 2021 book talk. I think she was picked up at a time where book talk was a lawless wasteland. And I think she was picked up at a time where publishers, publicists, and editors must have been so incredibly overworked and overwhelmed and not prepared for what hit them.
Well, and because Powerless went viral.
So viral. It went just about as viral as Fourth Wing. You could not escape it.
No.
And I'm not, once again, we are not slandering the fans of Powerless.
No.
I am the most upset that no one sat her down and was like, I know you're Red Queen's biggest fan. Do you know how I know that? Because this is Red Queen fan fiction.
And the thing is that yes, it's a hard conversation, but if you guys watched our Jillian Eliza West interview, one of the things is her alpha and beta readers which said, this is to this and needs to be more Jillian. That's what I wanted for Lauren, and I'm sad.
That's what Lauren deserved.
Yes. So at first I was angry. Now I'm disappointed. But when I have preteens, young teenagers who come in wanting a good fantasy, I do recommend it.
Yep.
If you don't want Red Queen, read Powerless. It is easy.
Or if you loved it so much, you want something just like it.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
So, and that's what book clubs do.
That was the hardest book club that we've done together, I think, since we've met.
I did really well, though.
You did a good job. You did a good job. And you let everyone tell you why they loved it, and you didn't say, even though, like, no, you were fine. You told everyone at the very beginning what your qualms were, and then you said a couple positives, and then you literally just sat there and listened to other people either have your opinion or say how much they loved it, and then we have people coming up after and saying, like, what was that book series? What was that? What was that? And now we have, like, really fun discussions because of Powerless.
Yeah, I think that was the first book we did where there were conflicting
opinions. We had some DNFs, we had 1 stars, and then we had 5 stars.
Yeah. And I really feel like that's kind of how it is. You either love it or you hate it.
Yeah, and I own Powerless and Reckless. I also will not be continuing because I tried to understand Reckless. I tried to get there. I tried to see her through. I bought it because I want to support her because she had such a rough go on the internet. And I was like, well, maybe they learned. That's why they pushed these. They did push it back like, 3 months or something? Or they pushed it. There was something that happened where they took a little longer than they said. And I was like, oh, yeah, they're going to fix it. No.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Love and light to Lauren Roberts and all of the Peyton and Kai stands. We're very happy for you. As far as book clubs go, that was probably my least favorite book club book I've read since I've met you.
It was I almost didn't finish. And I try very hard to finish all of our book club books so I can give an honest and accurate, not saying you aren't allowed to DNF, but if I'm going to talk at length about a book, I would like to.
Yeah, when you're facilitating or you're leading a discussion, which we typically are discussion leaders.
Yeah.
That's something you have to do.
And then our last book club is the one that we host here. And Liz is the lead, and I am the emotional support, Chaos DM.
Very fun. We are co-hosts, so I don't know why she's saying that. But I do make it my personal goal to traumatize everyone within an inch of their lives with how much we love each other.
Yeah, that's not where I thought you were going. I thought you were going with the books we pick, but yes.
But that's what I mean. Like, I pick books that put female friendship in your face, put hard choices in your face, and, like, sad stories, found family, family drama. We read a lot of emotional
damage.
Truly, we read a lot of emotional damage. We try and prioritize female authors and authors in marginalized communities. It doesn't always happen because there are some books I just need people to read that are written by white men, but we love them anyways.
White man, no.
Typical.
Typical.
I think my favorite book. Oh my gosh, how am I supposed to pick? So I'll do what Liz did with columns. So my personal favorite book that I have physically read with my eyeballs just for the reading experience, I think is The Wedding People so far. For vibes, for reading, for I couldn't put it down, for crying, for feeling seen, for having an author be able to say the quiet parts of my brain to me on a page is crazy. But I think discussion wise, I think the most fun I've had is The Grace Year.
Yeah, I would agree with all of that. I don't know, Book of Doors is up there.
The Book of Doors was crazy.
Book of Doors was really good.
And the discussion was great.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think Grace Year and Wedding People. The Wedding People was crazy because we went in thinking we had one book. And we opened the page and we had a completely different book.
It was to the point where I had come into Sunbound and I almost, me, the PR manager, needed a PR manager because I went so hard to bat for The Wedding People. And if you don't know, suicide is a very heavy topic of the book. So I came into Sunbound and I said, so I just told 40 of your shoppers plus everyone on your social media to read this book for a good time. And it is all about depression, suicide, anxieties, feeling the light of life come back to you again, etc.
And for the parents that you are not close
Parental
to.
trauma.
Yeah. And COVID.
Death. COVID.
Yeah. Any trigger.
Yeah.
You might have had it. So.
But however, it was extremely powerful.
I couldn't put it down.
And we had the most insane discussion, most emotional discussion. Several people were crying. Every time we come to book club here at Sunbound, we cry. Everyone cries. And it is amazing. There's not been one book I haven't rated 5 stars so far, which is crazy.
Right. Yeah.
And my next one for March, I've already given 5 stars. So,
which is Spare Town by Frederick Bachman.
Yeah, so it's just been insane. It's been insane. And I'm so thankful for this book club. When we were approached to run a book club here, we cried, and we have not stopped crying. And we love Sunbound, and we love Liz, and it has genuinely changed our lives already.
All of our book clubs have changed us, which I don't know if a lot of people can say that, but we can. And confidently.
Yeah, it's just like Alexa play For Good.
Yep.
From Wicked.
Oh, no.
Every time.
Every time. Yeah. So, if you are interested in any of our book clubs and you want more information, if we're able to give it to you, we will.
Yep. The virtual one especially. That one's not led by us. We are just feral members. That is Brady and Rosie Book Talk, TALK, on Instagram. Just BRBT, you can find it. That is a paid book club. You don't have to. You can just read along on Fable for free and Instagram, obviously. But in order to do the little Google Meets that are more personalized, and you get Patreon videos, Patreon chats, all kinds of fun things. It is like $6.
Yeah, it's $7.99.
Oh, that's what it is. So that you can find online. We'll put a link in the description. And yeah, I mean, book clubs are the reason why we know each other, the reason that we met, and the reason why we have so many friends that we have today. They changed us, and I would highly recommend if you're feeling a little lonely wherever you're at, or feeling like you don't have anyone to discuss books with you, or the types that you like, please look up book clubs in your area.
Yes. So with that being said, we are on all social media platforms at Liz and Liz Get Literary. And if you want to email us, we're at lizandlizgetlit@gmail.com. Thank you for coming.
Thanks. Bye.